Ten,
Semi
nine,
to take studio.
7, 6,
Semi
5,
camera 1, mics 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1.
Take studio.
Good afternoon, MCHS, and welcome to MCTV News. I'm your host, Rose Van Brabant. On today's episode, we'll be featuring not one, not two, but 3 original shorts presented by the MCTV alumni, training news voiceovers for storyboards. These pieces include the effects vending machine candy can have on someone's heart, the pros and cons of having crutches, and what happens when nobody in the MCTV crew wants to host a show. But first, our top story. Even though the basketball season has reached a conclusion, the school is not quite done with the sports teams yet. A few weeks ago, tryouts were held for the school's junior and senior badminton teams. Reporter Dominic Foss gives us an inside look of how the tryouts turned out.
At the conclusion of the basketball season, the badminton season begins. Mrs. Elder tells us how the season works.
So there's a grade 9 team, and there's also the high school team, which consists of junior, intermediate, and senior. So depending on when your age is as of September, you either fall into junior, intermediate, or senior. Typically what happens is the grade 10s are junior, the grade 11s are intermediate, and the grade 12s are senior.
I asked what athletes needed to show other than skill to have a shot at making the team. Both Mrs. Elder and Mr. Bodner came to the consensus that commitment is key.
The main thing other than skill that they need to show is commitment. That's one of the biggest things. As long as you're committed and you're willing to learn and you're willing to be taught, that's more than anything that we can ask for.
Next, I asked why students should try out for a sports team and what benefits doing so holds.
Well, the benefits are, again, learning a new sport, something that you might be able to do in the future outside of high school. You might be able to join a badminton club or something like that to get some physical activity. A lot of great people come out and play, a chance to meet new people, and it can be a good hobby for people, a lot of fun.
A popular belief amongst the planet is that badminton is a sport for sissies. I asked what the coaches' thoughts on this were.
Well, if you've ever played a real game of badminton, you'll know that you need power, you need finesse, you need to be agile, you need to be able to move front to back, left and right very quickly. And I would think the people that are saying it's a sport for sissies are the people that have been beaten a number of times and they've stopped playing. As
the badminton practices continue, athletes will need to show a great deal of commitment and dedication because competitions start very soon. This is Dominic Foss reporting for MCTV News.
Hello again, loyal viewers. Here on the show, we have with us the organizer of the Roger Champagne Memorial Bike Trip and the Fred Sharman Memorial Hiking Trip, Greg Bastine. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Mr.
Thanks for having me, Rose. I really appreciate it.
All right, so what can you tell us about the 2 trips?
Well, I mean, we do 2 trips. We do the bike trips in May. That's the Roger Champagne, and then we do the hiking trip in September, which is the Fred Sharman, and we do them annually. This year will be our 24th bike trip, and then this will be our 3rd annual Fred Sharman trip that'll be coming up this year in September.
All right, so the bike trip is coming up soon. What are you doing to prepare for that?
Yeah, so students who are interested in going on the bike trip, they have to complete 4 of 6 training rides. So on Saturday mornings and on a couple of the pack days in May or April and May, we ride around the areas around Morinville. So we cycle anywhere from about 40 to 65 kilometers in one training ride, and students have to make 4 of those 6 training rides in order to be able to go on the bike trip with us.
So if anyone was still interested in the bike trip, would it be too soon to join?
Well, it's probably a little too late at this point to join. We've done 2 of our 6 training rides already. If anybody wanted to be on the bike trip at this point, they would have to make the next 4 training rides, absolutely. Otherwise, they can't miss any more at this point. But if anybody's interested in maybe, if they wanted to go to the mountains, then the other option would be the hiking trip, which is coming up in September. That might be a little bit more feasible at this point for them to go on. The bike trip might be a little bit last minute at this point.
All right, so speaking of the bike trip, how could people who are interested get more information on that?
The bike trip or the hiking trip?
The hiking trip.
The hiking trip, yeah. The hiking trip, Basically, we're going to be having an information meeting on Monday, May the 4th at lunch in the Media Lab. The forms are already available. I can say this, we have 21 people that can go, and thus far I think about 7 or 8 people have already put their money in. So the trip usually fills up very quickly, so I'm going to recommend that if anybody wants to go on that hiking trip, they should come and see me fairly quickly and get their money in, because the trip in past years is usually filled up within about 2 or 3 weeks, and we're already only 1 week in and we've already got 1/3 full already.
All right, so it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So
It should be a blast, you betcha.
thanks for taking the time to come by.
Thank you very much for having me, Rose. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty. So everyone in the school knows that the vending machine is an easy way to get a treat during lunch hour or during the break. However, at what cost is it to provide the spoils they provide? To provide us with the answer, Shalom McNaughton gives us this original PSA.
What to choose? What to choose? I'm not sure. So many options. This might take forever. Oh, Henry!
I want one.
No.
Now let's take a look at our Canadian weather. All right, so here in Whitehorse, we got a little bit of sun cloud going on there. Temperature is at 6 degrees. Vancouver's got some rain. Temperature is at 9 degrees. Yellowknife, 0 degrees with sun and cloud. Regina has 11 degrees with sun and rain. Winnipeg is at 7 degrees with a little bit of sun. And up here in Ocala, we got some sun and snow. The temperature is at -8. Toronto's got some sun and snow. Temperature is at 6 degrees. All right, down here in Montreal, we got some rain with 7 degrees. Halifax and St. John's also have some rain, and they are at 5 and 4 degrees respectively. Now let's take a look at our Alberta forecast. Alrighty, so up here in high level, we got a little bit of rain going on there. Temperature is at 13 degrees. Fort McMurray's sun and rain and the temperature is at 10 degrees. Grand Prairie, a little bit of sun and rain going on there with 7 degrees. Edmonton, sun and rain also, temperature is at 11 degrees. Red Deer, Banff, and Jasper all have sun and rain. The temperatures are at 13, 11, and 10 respectively. Calgary and Medicine Hat also with sun and cloud. Temperature are both at 15 and 18 degrees respectively. Now let's take a look at our current conditions. All right, so it looks like we've got a bit of cloud coming up. The temperature is at 6 degrees. Wind is coming in from the west at 22 kilometers an hour, and the relative humidity is at 86%. The sun rose at 6:17 a.m., and the sunset will set at 8:48. Now let's take a look at our weekly forecast. Alrighty, so on Thursday we got some rain, high at 8, with a low of -1. Friday with some cloud, high of 8, low of 2. Saturday has some sun and cloud. The temperature is at a high of 6. And it looks like Sunday through Wednesday has some sun cloud with relatively warm temperatures. That is our weather. Recently, one of our crew members, Jasmine King, had the misfortune of accidentally breaking one of her ankles, thus having to use crutches as a mode of transportation. They can be quite useful for getting around with an injury, but they also have their limitations. Crew members Jasmine King and Julie Audi bring us this short demonstrating such pros and cons.
So Jake, have you seen Jasmine?
She's in hallway.
Wonder what's taking her so long.
Hey, can you pass me that? Hey, can you pass me that?
Oh, go ahead. It's good. So sweet.
Here are your MCHS announcements for Thursday, April 23rd. The MCHS Religion Retreat will be held from May 19th to May 21st. Permission forms are now available in the office and are due by April 23rd. Please see Mrs. Boucher for more details. On Monday, May 4th, in celebration of Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you. Here's your chance to become a clone and dress up to match your friends. Have you been a bad student, or do you want to show your parents how good a student you are? The 4th round of parent-teacher interviews will be held tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. in the MCHS gym. There will be a faculty meeting tomorrow, which means there will be no school for the students. So let's enjoy our long weekend. I know I'm going to. Interested in hiking through Jasper and Banff National Parks this September? There will be a meeting for the 3rd annual French Charmin Memorial Hiking Trip on May 4th at lunch in the Media Lab. Contact Mr. Bastine for trip details. Have you missed any episodes of MCTV News this season? Then please log on to www.bastine.net to see our digital broadcast archive, which includes episodes from the last 21 seasons. Get your fill of MCHS news, weathers, and sports. Stay connected with all the events at MCHS by logging onto the school's website at www.mchs.gsacred.ab.ca, following us on Twitter at MCHS Wolves, or by searching the hashtag MCHS or MCTV News. When it comes to doing news reports and risking life and limb for a good story or short, our crew is all for it. Getting in front of the bigger cameras to host the actual show, that's a bit of a different story. A lot of our staff is willing to go to great lengths to avoid having to host, including spoofing a popular M&M commercial.
All right, guys, got a really important show. Make sure you sign up for your positions, all right? All right, guys, this is serious. I don't have any hosts for the next show. I need some hosts, please. Are you kidding me? Well, I might as well go and do the titles then. Sorry. Get in the studio.
You get in the studio.
MCTV News. I host, so my students don't have to.
That's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to join hosts Steve Hoffman and Terrence Smith and Justin Subaya for our next broadcast of MCTV News. Pieces will include an inside look at the Easter celebration, a tour of the Ward's auction house, and a dance video presented by Justin Subaya, Shalom McNaughton, and Eric Greenlaw. All this plus your 7-day forecast of MCTV News. Well, if anyone's looking for a new job, we are currently looking for a new switcher. So if you are able-bodied and very strong-minded and know how to use a switcher, please come on down. Please. All right, for all of us here on MCTV News, I'm Rose Van Brabant. Have a great afternoon, MCHS.